But you better believe that I think about this bear every day since we saw it. Hi everyone, welcome back to Off to Broadway, the podcast where we deep dive into anything and everything musical theater. I'm Tara.
I'm Stefania.
And in today's episode, we just got back from a trip to, London and Greece, but we're only talking about London in this episode. So we thought we would do a little London/West End/UK tour off West End recap. And sadly, unlike when we've done this before with New York, we have nothing to show for it because we did not purchase programs, playbills, whatever they call them out there.
Yeah, we did not get a show bill or show program at any of the shows because you have to pay for them in the UK. I don't know if people knew that. When I had gone previously to West End shows, I did buy them, but as I've gotten older, trying to be more financially responsible.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Just trying to think about, become a minimalist. I don't need this clutter in my life. I wonder what is the debate on people who frequently go to West End shows? Do you buy the playbill or not the playbill, the program? Do you not? Do you buy it only for a special show? What do you guys normally do?
The Americans that we follow on social media, like Theater is Life, Ashley Hufford, Broadway Ben, they are always buying the show bills, but I think they've also just created such an extensive collection now that it adds to it. I'm just our Canadian dollar to the pound is tragic.
It's not good.
And I don't know that every show was selling the smaller ones. I know that every show was selling the
size.
Big ones, and to have the ones that are closest to your playbill size. I don't know that every show had that. So the only thing that I will say that I do have is that I have the window card from Legally Blonde. I wish I took the window card from Titanic, but yeah, you can't really get any sort of paper for free over in London.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I find it so interesting. I mean, in New York and even in Toronto, but in New York, it's, a free magazine provided to the shows. The shows are not printing them themselves. It's an ad-based thing. In Toronto, even the programs that we get at Mirvish are, ad-based as well. Other shows, and a lot of shows in Toronto as well are transitioning away from a physical program, which I don't like. I like to be able to refer to it, especially because we're not supposed to be on our phones in the theater as the show's going on. I want to be able to look at it as the show's going on and look at the casting or the song list, which you can't do when the only information you have about the show is on your phone. But yeah, I don't love that you have to buy them in the West End, but that's just kind of how it seems to have always been there. But yeah, I'm curious to know, London locals or UK locals, what are the thoughts there about having to purchase programs versus not?
I mean, also in this discussion, which is not super, tied to our trip to London, but in the last couple months, they've stopped putting slips in playbills for understudies. So no matter if you get the playbill or not, you still have to scan the QR code to see who's on the cast.
You don't necessarily know.
Or you have to look at the board outside, which we did do. It's so hard because I found, and we'll talk about this as we get into it, but we were at intermission or when we were back in the hotel looking at the cast list because we did have quite a few understudies throughout our shows that we saw in London, but it's oh, was it this person? It's so hard to tell, and if you don't take a picture of that board, then you never know. So I still don't know for some people, because me listening to the Paddington cast recording the other day, I was oh, we didn't see this person. I know this for a fact. We did not see this person.
I was watching a Paddington Bow video a week after we were there, and a bunch of people were different, and I was wait, did we have the original cast?
I think we had many understudies.
Did have the original cast? I couldn't tell. But yeah.
But I guess that's also the fun of it. I don't know. It's I have a love-hate relationship with it, because obviously a lot of the playbells in New York specifically get left on the ground, and people just like litter all over the streets of New York.
It's definitely more intentional on the West End.
Yeah. So that's like one way about it, but it's also like sad to me that I can't like read bios. I mean, I guess I could, but I have to pay for it. I just don't want to pay for it.
I know.
Anyway, all this to say, we just came back. We came back on Monday. It's Friday when we're recording this. And then, you know, this will come out in a couple weeks from when we're recording this, but it's still very relevant because there's actually like so much synergy and news for things that have happened. But we are not, and I'll say this off the top of this episode, we are not going into full details on these shows. If you are looking for a Paddington show review, this is not the episode. There will be an episode, but we are not going into like in-depth things. This is kind of just like, you know, a recap of the trip, what we saw, what we paid, like kind of similar to when we've done this in the past for New York. And then if there are shows that you would like to hear full episodes on, please let us know, because we know a few things that we want to do, but we want to know if like we want to hear everything or we want to hear certain things. So
yeah, what are people interested in, or just, you know, what do you want to hear about our experience there? Like, we'll go into what we think is interesting, but if there's more that that people are interested in on, you know, how we made it happen or kind of what our goals were, then we're open to talking about what our experience was and like what we saw and what to talk about.
We have currently on the spreadsheet like an open summer rest of the year. So we
have things coming up. We have some fun things coming up.
We have some things coming up, but we are also like a little blank right now. So we want to know what people want to hear. I guess we should go back kind of to the beginning here. So we were in London for 7?
You
6?
Know, how do you count it? We had, I would say 5
Counted by
days.
Show slots, I guess.
I would say we had 5 days in London to see shows. And then we, you know, took a little trip up to Leeds to see another show. But we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 show slots to fill while we were in London.
And we landed on a Saturday. We technically had 8 slots, but that was going to be crazy of us if we tried to go to a matinee the day that we landed. I actually think we could have done it based on timing, but we would have been delusional, so it was a good, I think, idea not to do that. But we landed on a Saturday, and we left London on a Friday, but as you said, we left on a Saturday the week later. But as you said, we went to Leeds to see a show, and then the reason for the trip was we had tickets to go see Harry Styles Night 1 on the Friday, which was a sacrifice of a show slot on a Friday.
Well,
Harry.
It was the reason for the trip, you know?
Yes.
It was why we made our way there in the first place, so.
It was also the first night of the tour, so I don't even know if we absolutely thought about the day of the week that was when we booked those tickets, because like that was so many months ago. So it didn't matter. We still saw, 7 shows.
We saw a lot of shows.
In the UK. So basically the only show, which we've talked about previously, but we only went down with 1 set of tickets.
That's not true.
2 sets of tickets. 1 set of tickets for London, 1 set of tickets for Leeds. But I feel like, I don't know, would you say that that's like almost kind of risky because there's no in-person rush? Like, can we talk about the no in-person rush in London?
Yeah, I do think I'm very happy with what we paid, but I don't think we needed to be as last minute to get those same deals. Like, some of the stuff we did, like, digital rush, but I do think we could have bought some in advance online and paid the same or maybe even better for better tickets. We're very used to, like, we haven't done a London trip like this before, so we were kind of like, experimenting and taking our experience from a New York trip to this. And when we're in New York, we are in the mornings like in person rushing everything, or Today Ticks rushing as much as we can, and we applied that to our London trip, but we couldn't go in and like control the 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. lineup for a show to try and get our tickets. We had to like be online and be creative in that way. So yeah, because there was no in-person rush, I do think we could have potentially been a bit more prepared and planned out before we got there. But I do think we overall like spent, you know, we saved enough.
Yeah. I agree with you, but I don't think it's as crazy as you think.
What do you mean?
Like price-wise saving money, I don't think we're talking like
No,
$700.
I don't think so.
I think we're talking like maybe
like $10,
1 to
10
2.
pounds.
Oh, 10? Then who cares?
No, yes. I would say like the one that I'm really thinking of is the Devil Wears Prada. We bought them on Today Ticks. They had their summer sale going on, and I had been monitoring that night, and there were a ton available for the price we paid, like significantly like closer or slightly better seats. Our seats were good, but I think we could have, if we bought like a few weeks in advance, been like had a better seat for that exact same price. And so by leaving it to the last
we
minute,
did know that though.
We had, like,
I don't know why we
we
didn't do that, but we did know that.
Yeah.
I guess the summer sale started a few weeks before we left, and then it ended while we were there. Because then there was like a kids week sale, like in the middle of the time that we were there as well.
Right.
But yeah, so we went down with tickets first to Leeds because we went to see Legally Blonde on tour, and that was selling out like months in advance of our trip. In comparison to like everything else that we were looking at, like that was the one that had few and far between tickets.
We bought those months and months ago. Like back in March probably. Maybe even February.
And looking at the rest of the UK tour now, like it's still basically sold out. Like I've been watching every week Hannah Lowther's Legally vlogs, and she basically was saying that like, or maybe it was her podcast. I don't know. I'm also like jet lagged right now, but like it was possibly her podcast where she was talking to the guy that plays Emmett, and they were saying that like her mom wanted to come back out to go see the show somewhere specific, and she was like, oh, you better get like your tickets now because it's selling so well. And they were talking about how like it's actually such a luxury on a UK tour for it to sell as well as it has, because a lot of the time on tours, like I wouldn't say so much in Toronto because we're such a big like theater market, but sometimes on tours you're playing to like half empty houses depending on the city, the state, whatever. And it seemed to be that case for her when she's done previous things in the UK, that like you can get so many day of tickets, but for this show it's pretty sold. So if you're interested in Legally Blonde, keep that in mind, that you should probably look at booking your tickets now.
Yeah, I think we made the right decision in buying far enough in advance, especially because we had to like book a hotel and book a train as well to go. So it would have been risky to like leave it to the last minute. And also for national tours, they're far less likely to do, you know, last minute deals like this or Rush or Digital Rush. So we paid, I think, £41 for our tickets. They were like Rio Orchestra. They're not in that theater anymore. So like, I think our view was pretty good, but who knows? Yeah. Your mileage may vary based on what theater you're in. But I think that was like a pretty reasonable price. Do not think about the conversion if you're in Canada. Just like you have to move on. But for £41, like Rio Center Orchestra, I was very happy with our view and our tickets.
Yes. Also, just to like, you know, close out Legally Blonde here, it is on tour until the beginning of next year. It's on tour until January 2nd. And I believe when this episode is released, which will be July something, they'll be in Dublin. So I don't know if there's tickets available, but you can check on their website, Legally Blonde.
I was getting emotional because the week after we were there, they went to Cardiff, which was another consideration for us. Like, I was like, should we go to Cardiff? Should we go to Wales? The trip just didn't end up working out like that. But I got emotional watching Amber Davies, like, come out with her Welsh flag. Like, that was, like, her hometown shows. It was nice. It was, you know, and that's, like, the benefit of going on tour. You get to visit, you know, different towns that, like, you know, your cast might be from. They don't have to travel to you. The night we were there, I think there was, like, a cast member who's like a school group came to see them at the stage door.
I think multiple school groups were there. There was a lot of kids there. Yeah.
Many school groups were there. But yeah, that made me, I was touched watching her, you know, be so proud to be at home.
We might come back to Legally Blonde because we really just jumped like so many days there, but that was kind of just an example of something that we bought in advance, but we will go back. So we landed in London on a Saturday, and we were debating between a couple shows. Again, this would be through the Today Tix. Actually, that's not true, because what we ended up paying it through was the like version of TKTS in London.
So we bought tickets through 3 different methods. One was Today Tix. After this trip, I'm like a silver Today Tix member because I was like on Today Tix. We also used kind of the TKTS app, which took us to, I can't remember what it's called, but like it took us to a separate link. You find it out. Yeah. Took us to like a separate link to be able to buy tickets. You can buy it online.
Official London Theatre.
officiallondontheatre.com. And it took us to this website where you could buy day of tickets at TKTS prices or future tickets. So it didn't have to be necessarily for that day. So we could buy a few days in advance there, and a lot of them were on sale. The other way we bought was direct from the box office.
Sorry, not to interrupt you, but this is also Official London Theatre is the physical booth in London as well. Like they are the ones
it's in Leicester Square, I
sponsor it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we
it's
even
in Leicester Square. We didn't actually go to it in person. I think we walked by it once, but it was closed. But we did not go to it in person. I have bought tickets from it in person in previous trips, but we did not physically visit the booth this time. We were able to do everything online, except for one ticket, which we bought directly from the box office.
Yes. The other thing, too, about, like, officiallondontheatre.com, like, if the physical booth is closed, it doesn't mean that tickets are not still on sale online. So that's kind of different to New York, I would say. Like, if TKTS is closed, you cannot buy tickets on the TKTS website. Like, that's just not a thing.
It's a strictly in-person purchasing thing. That is a big difference. Like, New York much more relies on in-person ticket purchasing for these like deals and last minute, whereas London, I think maybe because it's so much more physically spread out, it's much more of a digital process for last minute deals.
I'd say yes and no, because also like think of Telecharge now does lottery. Like a lot of these do digital lotteries in the last, I would say, like,
yes, lottery is almost all digital now, even in New York.
Yeah, and even like Telecharge has like Rush. Some of the theaters themselves have their own like websites that do Rush.
Yes, for sure.
I think things are just like people are realizing that they don't want to just like wait in line anymore.
Well, but I
sometimes it's better that way.
I feel like the physical waiting in line, like I understand why things are moving to more digital because it requires less staff. But
yeah.
I do think, like, part of the benefit, like, Rush is for people who are able to wait in line like that. Like, it is, you are trading your time for a cheaper ticket versus paying more for the convenience of having your ticket further in advance. Like, you need that time to, like, put in the risk. I don't know. I like an in-person Rush. I like an in-person lottery, too, but I understand why, you don't. Especially like much closer to showtime, it's a bit trickier, but I do think like London just very much is not their culture. That is not.
I also think it doesn't happen for every show, but Rush can also get out of hand. People lining up at like in the middle of the night. So
yeah, 100%.
I don't know that that's something that the West End ever wanted to adopt. It's very interesting. This obviously goes way back. Like we don't know when. This decision was originally made. Like the Rush process has been around for many, many, many years. So I don't know why they decided to do it digitally, but that is what they do.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, our first day we were like, what to see? What should we see that day?
So it kind of came down to, and this was like at 5:30, curtains at 8. We had not like made a decision yet. We were still like in between different things. Wow, the drama of that, because, like, your accounts. But, so we were kind of in between at this current point, – Hercules or The Hunger Games. And those are two wildly different things. Obviously, saying that out loud, one is a, Disney property that I think for a little bit there was kind of conversation of like, will this be the next Disney on Broadway? I actually don't think that this will be, because it's closing in September, I believe, in the West End. I think so. And it hasn't, been that super critically acclaimed. Apparently the cruise ship version of Hercules is actually like really good. But yeah, it was between Hercules or the Hunger Games. And for the Hunger Games, we had the option to sit in the moving seats. And for Hercules, I think they were like really far away, if I remember correctly.
So rush tickets were still available for Hercules.
Right.
For till quite late. And then I think about 2 hours before showtime, when we still had not bought a ticket, there were no more rush tickets available. So then we're like, oh, we have to buy an actual ticket. And they weren't very good, though the price was good.
Yeah, the price was good, but I think they were like quite obstructed, and we just, decided to have the cinematic experience of the Hunger Games live on stage at the theater that was built specifically for it, the Troubadour, out at Canary Wharf. And what did we pay for that?
Let me look this up. I have this noted on our TikTok. We shared a TikTok with what we paid for every show. So if you're looking for some backup here, we paid £33.50. £33
for that.
Pence,
per ticket. And yes, we were sat in District 2, which District 1 and District 2 are moving seats. And like, I have no regrets of seeing the Hunger Games.
I agree. I have no regrets as well. This was an experience. A good experience, hard to say, but it was an experience.
Moments of it were a good experience, I think.
Moments were... There's just so much with this show. I have so many thoughts, honestly. So many thoughts, so many notes, but I also am specifically wanting to speak to the woman that flew from New York and left at intermission. Was it New York? I don't know. It was somewhere in the States, but I'm just going to say it was New York. That specifically flew for this, paid in advance, left at intermission, because I'm like, girl, Act 2 was kind of amazing. Act 2 was miles beyond Act 1. It still, I would say, was not great, but
also
it was
so good.
It was far, far better than Act 1.
When our districts were dying, that was iconic.
No, that was great. Also, because like we were District 2. District 2 like survives to the end. So I'm like yes. Let's die. I want to be lit up.
Yeah. For anybody that like is wondering what the hell is this, like, yeah, me too. But it's basically the first movie of the Hunger Games, like put in the round on stage.
It's exactly what it says on the tin. The Hunger Games live on stage. Like, that is what it is.
Some of the most bizarre acting choices I think I've ever seen in a theater.
Some crazy
singing the Pan Am anthem.
Like the stylists doing a little dance. It was so funny.
But what I will say, some of the best trapdoors I've ever seen. Cool. Smooth. Cool open and close, so smooth. Yeah, and let's talk about really the fog in that theater, because everybody should be taking a page from the Hunger Games book. If you want fog in your theater, get that mushroom, because it's unbelievable.
And also, I felt I was on a theme park ride when we just kept, slowly moving.
The move was so smooth. Congrats to the mechanics of that, because, when they say you're moving, the first time we were like, wait.
The first time I was like, oh, we're moving. We're moving. You don't realize it till you're already, halfway there.
There's, an usher that's
really
distracting.
Sitting.
It's not.
I didn't find it distracting. No. You, can't leave, is the thing. If you're in these moving districts. I think you're stuck.
And they tell you that, before you get your ticket. So, if you have any sort of, might have an emergency, never sit there. Or also if you feel, claustrophobic or anything like that, absolutely do not sit in District 1 or 2, because, you can't leave. Although people came in late and they did sit them in our section. So, after we had moved the first time.
I do think, you can get in and out, but I think it's very much, it's recommended not to leave. Obviously, I think you can exit if needed. Yeah. But realistically, they're not gonna resit you. I don't know exactly how it works, but they were they're once you're there,
there's
you're
signs
there.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. The ushers are and the usher rides with you. Rides.
Yeah. They were sitting in our row.
Yeah.
Their walkie-talkie was too loud, so they actually need to lower that
was,
for
like, right
future
next to me.
performances.
I was like, girl, turn that down.
I would say if you're a fan of the Hunger Games, or if, you know, you live in London and you want to see some kind of like cool practical effects, like go get a cheap ticket. It was very unsold when we were there on a Saturday night.
Like, empty. Empty. There, I'm gonna give away something. Okay, when your
District dies.
District
when your
dies.
players, sorry.
When your, what are they called? Your tribute?
Tribute, yeah.
Your tribute? Whatever. I am a Hunger Games fan. When your tribute dies, the cannon goes off, they light up your district red, and there was a district that had 0 people in it, and then it was just like red.
7.
It made me, District 7, lumber. It made me laugh.
Shout out.
That it was like just empty, and it just like red spotlight on these like empty seats. It was really
and
funny.
also, like, a note for if anyone from the Hunger Games team is, you know, listening to this episode, like, I think we should talk about some audience interaction here, because I really wanted to do the 3-finger salute.
We just got kept, like...
when Rue died. Spoiler for the Hunger Games. But, like, I really wanted to... Because, well, Katniss came right up to our section when Rue died to do the salute. And I had my fingers ready, but nobody else was doing it, so I didn't do it.
I think just because... I mean, there's many reasons. I think just because the audience is kind of so tepid at this point. Like, everyone's just kind of, like, doesn't care.
I think we should, like, read the Hunger Games at school and then bring the class to see the show. Like, that's what I think we should be doing with this.
You know, maybe.
And then everyone can watch the movie afterwards. The other thing I was going to say about seeing this, if you're, like, in London, one, I wouldn't travel for this. Like, obviously.
I don't think it's worth
if you're there,
traveling. It's just, like,
if you're there, go. If you're interested in, like, special effects... I do think some of the stuff that happens like in the arena is pretty cool. Like we are climbing up scaffolding, like it's pretty cool stuff. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I think it's definitely worth it. This will absolutely not move anywhere. So if you're in London, see it if you want, because if you're thinking, oh my God, it's going to transfer to New York, it won't.
It's never moving.
I think this is the place that will live and die.
It's
so
also, I would not pay more than £40 for this. I don't think you'll have to, but I think that should be your maximum spend on something like this.
And also, if you are listening to us and you're like, oh, like, should I sit in a moving seat or is it too distracting? Sit in the moving seat.
It was so fun.
Yeah. And all that to say, if anybody wants an episode on this, like, please let us know, because I do think there are some things to talk about here with, like, phenomenons. I'm thinking of, like, the Stranger Things, which we never saw, but, like, the play and... I don't know, even like Paranormal Activity that's in Toronto currently kind of all kind of lives in the same realm.
Yeah, like what is the business decision of deciding to make something like this, adapt something like this to stage?
So
like,
I do think there's
audiences.
like a slight conversation there, but if you're like actually like, oh my God, I'm so passionate about the Hunger Games, I want to hear your thoughts on this, like please let us know. Moving on to the next day, which is Sunday, we were really relying on Rush that morning on Today Tix.
We were at Joe and the Juice.
So we were really interested in seeing My Neighbor Totoro, and they have the spirit seats for £30 that come available every day at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
And then on Today Tix, on the app. I wonder if it's on the website too. I've never done that, but someone, if you've done it on the website, let us know. But we did it on the app. And then we were also, you know, trying to see 6, but we'll tell you now that did not work out because there's not that many Sunday night shows on the West End, and it appears that 6 is as popular as it ever was. So keep that in mind if you're looking to go see 6 on a Sunday night in London. All that to say, we were successful in getting seats for Totoro. And we saw that was at the Gillian Lynn Theatre in the West End. Kind of an interesting... go ahead.
Going back to the Rush experience, I think what we should have done is My Neighbor Totoro didn't sell out, and I think we could have got a Rush much later. And so what we should have done is both try to be on 6 to try the digital Rush. And then even if both of us didn't get it, like I think their Totoro seats were going to be available. So I think part of doing digital Rush especially is doing practice runs, like trying a few days earlier, like trying to go in, seeing what's available, or going in to the shows you're interested in, even if you're not right at 10 a.m., like later in the day, okay, this show still has seats available, this show doesn't. And just kind of playing around with it so that the day you actually eat it, you have, like, expectations going in. So I think if we
you had done for 6, but again, it was like one of 2 shows available on a Sunday night. Also, like, I agree, technically we both could have been on, but also in my head I was like, we've seen this show 7 times. If we don't go, it's okay.
Yes, no, for sure.
So, like, that was my thoughts on that.
I agree. But yeah, I do think we could have gotten Totoro seats 15 minutes later and been fine if we wanted to, like, both really try hard for 6. So something to think
did also something too along with that too is that, like, look at the seating chart before the rush comes available, because also with 6 there was, like, literally 5 seats left in the entire theater. So
so it's like, I don't even know back or not. Like, did they have anything available? We don't know.
Yeah, we're not sure what they do for specific shows in the West End. We know a little bit more at home in New York, but yeah, it's hard to say on that. But anyway, we went to go see My Neighbor Totoro at the Gillian Lynn Theater. That theater is almost like a thrust stage, the way that we're kind of, like, sitting semicircled, sort of. We both have no previous connection, knowledge, really anything to My Neighbor Totoro or, like, Spirited Away or really any sort of anime.
Like
so this was just something that, we had heard a lot of really good things about and wanted to see, and it was great.
I really enjoyed this. I think, talk about puppetry, really, really beautiful use of practical puppetry in this show, not just for the character of Totoro, but for, so many other elements in the show.
The little spirits.
The spirits, just, like, the whole thing. They found, like, so many ways to make it special throughout the whole show. And I got emotional at the end when they were doing the bows and all the kind of puppeteers, like, did their puppeting, but, like, without the puppet, so you could see the work and exactly who was creating what pictures throughout the whole show. And I thought that was a beautiful way to do kind of a curtain call, so we could, like, acknowledge the work they were putting in. And yeah, it was just, like, a sweet family story, really perfect for kids.
Yes, like, it's definitely for kids.
It's a children's show. It's a children's show for sure, but we as adults, like, were moved by it. I thought it was really, really sweet. I enjoyed it very much.
Even the couple sitting next to me were probably around our age, and I feel like they were definitely more familiar with, like, the subject material than we were, but they also loved it. We were literally moved to tears right before intermission, which...
I know.
It was so beautiful. There's just so many things. And also, like, to your point of the curtain call of the puppetry, not only that, but then you also could see some of the actors that played double duty doing voices off stage. They would bring out, like, the big microphone to do that. And then also the stage is draped with the band up above and then also behind and, like, kind of, like, in the audience. And then there is, like, one female singer that bows at the very end. It's so funny? I literally wrote notes for all these shows, but I am not even referring to them, which is dumb. But yeah, I feel like we kind of have everything. Oh, the other thing too about this show is that, like, the set pieces, like the house that is used for so much of the show. Yeah, the constructing and reconstructing of the house. The instrumental music was really beautiful. We assume, and also we had heard stuff online afterwards that, like, this is definitely, like, scoring from the original material, and then just, like, very impressive what's going on there. Totoro is on in the West End until January. I believe they also, just looking to see their awards, because I do think the Puppeteers won some things here. So in 2023, they won 6 Olivier Awards: Best Set Design, Best Costume Design, Best Director, Best Entertainment or Comedy Play, Best Lighting Design, Best Sound Design. So I wonder if, like, puppetry falls within set design. It's interesting because, like, it's a huge part of that show.
I think it does. Has this been announced to transfer or no?
To Broadway?
Yeah, anywhere. I'm on Wikipedia.
No. I don't think so.
No. The play premiered at London's Barbican in 2022, a West End production, March 2025. Yeah, I think there was like a rumor about that, but it doesn't seem that that's actually happening.
And then the other thing, too, is I would like to shout out the actor that played May, Victoria Chen, because she was unbelievable.
Oh my god, playing a 5-year-old. Iconic. Amazing.
A 3-year-old. Even younger. She was unbelievable.
Just like the physicality of being 3.
She was so good.
Funny.
Yeah.
So cute.
Really good. Really sweet. Very moving. Like, again, this is a show you can get tickets. Like, we've seen. They're, like, pretty available. So, highly recommend that. And then we, you know, made our way over to, I don't even know what theater that was, but to go see
Criterion?
Titanic.
Is that what it's called?
Yes, the Criterion, you're right, because we walked past it like 8 million times. We did not have rush tickets for this. We kind of just like went to the box office a couple hours before. This was like after Totoro. Like we just were still debating on what we should do. We walked over to the 6th theater and there was a sign outside the door that said sold out. So then we walked over to the Criterion and we spoke to the man at the box office. Shout out to him because they pull up the seat map right in front of you.
There was
like on a computer screen. Yes.
There was not many tickets left, and he's like, let me put them in the cart for you while you decide, so that, like, no one can buy them from us online.
He also had said to us that, like, that was, like, the prime time that everyone starts to, like, buy tickets is, like, a couple hours before the show. It also happened to be, like, the night when many cast members were leaving, so it was kind of, like, a bigger thing that people were buying tickets for. But we ended up originally buying 2 single seats in the mezzanine. I guess the dress circle, whatever they call it there, same as here, the dress circle. And then the woman that was sitting beside me so kindly was like, oh, are you together? Like, I'll switch. So then she sat in the seat. We had like 2 seats behind each other, and then she moved to the seat in front, and we got to sit together.
Yeah.
You know, obviously,
I
a show we've
awkwardly
seen
like
before.
climbed over.
Both of you awkwardly climbed over.
Mine was, I think, a bit more awkward than hers, but that's okay.
But yeah, a show we've seen before, a show that we really like. The big difference here is that it's 2 acts instead of 1.
Yeah, it's a bit longer, I think, there.
I think it's the same in New York right now. It's also 2 acts instead of 1.
Acts in New York as well.
And don't quote me, but I believe if you are in the Montreal area, it is playing in Montreal right now. The French version of Titanic with Véronique Clavaux, reprising as Céline Dion, but this time en français. So it's kind of playing like everywhere. So it's just, you know, it's the most fun show. Our Ruth's monologue that night was unbelievable.
Oh my god, it was crazy. It was so funny. Yeah, it went on. It really did go on. And it was very funny. Shout out to
Peter Andre and Mamma Mia the Party. I don't know anything about this man, but you got roasted up on stage there.
He's like, a party, talk about a funeral. More like a funeral. And we're like laughing, or we're like, we don't even know who this man is.
It was funny to us because like we had taken the tube for the last 2 days and had seen his face like so big on an advertisement. And we're like, oh my god, Mamma Mia the Party.
We had seen the posters, but we had no context for why that's funny at all. So it was very funny. Also, when he insulted the bus, and we were like loving the bus.
We love the bus. Yeah. And then he also, you know, in his moment of just saying like a million lines, we did get an I'm coming to the cottage moment as well. But there's so many, I don't know, that part is crazy, and I feel like in a last show situation, you kind of just get to do whatever you want. He was in and out of accent, which was fun as well. And the other memorable one to me was that I believe that theater does not have any air conditioning because he was really talking about that. But it was great. I think right now it's like, isn't it like an etiquette expert that's playing Ruth? I don't know if that's still happening when this episode is released, but I'm at time of record, it's like an etiquette expert that's playing Ruth. And it's also like Jim Parsons playing on Broadway. Yeah. Which is hard for us to like wrap our head around, but
I just can't imagine him.
I heard he's pretty good.
I'm sure he's good, but I just cannot imagine him monologuing,
like going off on 10 minutes for 10 minutes like that.
But again, I think the only thing I've ever really seen him in is like Big Bang Theory, which again, to be fair, I didn't really watch it all anyway, so I don't know. William Hanson playing Ruth is an etiquette coach. He's an actor, and that may quickly become apparent. Wow. He hosts a podcast. He has 5 books. Yeah,
5 books.
Ruth until July 26th.
Okay, so he'll still be in it when this comes out. I'm trying to find the person's name who we saw as Ruth, because I do want to shout them out. I found it. Yeah, Carl Mullaney. Carl Mullaney, you're an icon. I just need you to know that. So yeah, on the West End, it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes. The only other time we saw it was in Toronto, and it was 90. I do think our Canadian cast was like so good that it was hard to top that.
I agree. I loved our Canadian cast, and it was hard to compare because I was thinking back to, when we originally saw it. And yeah, just unmatched, to be honest, the talent that we saw here. And also I think it was just like a tighter show at that time. I think now it's a little bit bloated, which is what I have heard about it on Broadway as well. Just a little bit overindulgent.
Also, I do think, but also for, a last night for so many cast members, we definitely went overtime by like 10 or 15 minutes on those.
And that is the night to be indulgent too. There were definitely like friends in the audience. Like it was a really warm audience. So yeah, no, it makes sense.
Okay,
let's move on.
We got to keep this moving because we're like doing too much. Okay, then on Monday we saw The Devil Wears Prada. As you said, this was a Today Ticks buy in advance for the summer sale. We sat kind of like, I would say like middle to rear, because that theater is massive.
Gigantic.
Massive. But I thought we had like a pretty good vantage point for this show. Here's the thing about The Devil Wears Prada. I do think we will be doing a full episode on this because we have quite a history on this podcast. We've talked about it for many, many, many years.
We've been invested.
It's kind of exactly what I thought it was going to be, which is like trash, but so entertaining.
Yeah, like, was it good? No. Did I have the time of my life? Yes. So
yeah,
and I can't be mad.
Sorry again to Elton John, because like, what are we doing here with this score? We have like one good song, much. I think.
Not much is the answer. No, there were moments, but it was quite like corny. An adaptation is hard. This as an adaptation, like, I don't know if we found anything new within the material here.
No, it was verbatim what the movie is.
Making it a musical at all.
Yeah.
We weren't uncovering any new layers, but I had a wonderful time. Vanessa Williams.
And some of the set pieces, amazing. Crazy.
Yeah. No, we'll get into it because there were moments where I was wowed.
I will say, for anybody that is interested, if you are just looking for information right now, Vanessa Williams will be in the show until October 17th, and then she is leaving after a 3-year run. Crazy. I do absolutely also need to shout out Stevie Dock, who played Andy, winner of Mamma Mia, I Have a Dream, for maybe the craziest voice we might have heard all week on the West End.
Her voice was amazing.
So good. And the only other thing I will say is similar to the Hunger Games. If you are interested in this, you should see it because it is absolutely not transferring anywhere. It will live and die in the West End. So if you're interested, go. Yeah. But other than that, we will save the rest of our thoughts because we will be doing an episode on The Devil Wears Prada for sure. Okay, moving on to Tuesday, we saw The Producers. This was off of a Today Ticks rush ticket. This was actually kind of like, not that we weren't going to go see this, but we did not have immediate access to getting tickets on Today Ticks rush. You had to go in and out so many times.
So the night before, we didn't know what we were going to see the next day, and we were basically just on Today Ticks being like, okay, here's what our options are for Tuesday night. And we settled on, you were going to try and get tickets to The Producers, and I was going to try and get tickets to Sinatra, which, spoiler, we did not see Sinatra. And so at 10 a.m. Tuesday, we're at M&S on Oxford Street in the food hall, and we both...
They had Wi-Fi, shout out.
Because they did have Wi-Fi. I wonder if we'd been on the street, like, on data, if we would have had different... Hard to say. And at 10 a.m., we were, like, clicking, and neither of us got in. We were both like, no tickets available. All tickets are being held right now. And we're like, oh, no.
But also, sorry... To preference, like, Sinatra on the seating map had, like, 2 seats available, if that. So, like, their actual show seats were basically sold out. So, again, like, unknown how many tickets they held for Rush,
we don't know if they held at all. Yeah, it was, like, early. It was still in early preview.
It was, like, third preview.
It was, like, the first week, so understandable. So we were both trying there. So I'm like, okay, the first, like... Today Takes holds tickets in your cart, I think, for 5 minutes. So while people had things in their cart, whether they decide to buy or not, we had kind of like 5 minutes to like see what was going on. So then as we're walking down the street, I switch over from Sinatra to the producers, and I'm just like tapping. Every time it would reject me, I would exit out and just keep tapping. I moved over from Sinatra to the producers at this point, and eventually I just like got in. And I was like, oh, okay, purchase. I forgot to use my credit. I was like too excited.
Yeah, we had a $5 credit that was, you know, left in the dust. It's still on your account, I guess.
Yeah, what am I going to do with my £5?
I think it transfers over to, like, New York.
It just doesn't, like, last forever. It eventually expires is the thing. Should I look at it right now?
Does it? Not? Does it expire?
I don't know. I think it does. Okay, I'm looking right now. So I think another hack, not a hack, but just with Today Takes Digital Rush, things are in your cart for 5 minutes. So people might be doing the exact same thing. So if you don't get something immediately at the 10 o'clock time, or 9 o'clock or whenever the rush is, like potentially, people will release these tickets. So there's kind of like another influx at the 5 minute mark where people, where you might have another opportunity. So it's not over if you don't get a ticket right at 10.
The other thing, too, is that on the flip side for the official London theater...
Okay, I'm going to pause. I have $10 of Today Takes cash. It expires on December 5th.
Oh. Well, that might just expire then.
Yeah,
I think you got the 10 from, like, the purchase of the producers, but you had 5 from, like, the purchase
before.
Of something else, I think.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is that we also learned through the official...
Unlocked with 6 tickets.
Through the official London Theatre website, that cart is 15 minutes. We also learned that.
We did learn that because Tara put something in her cart and then I wanted to buy it and we had to like really wait.
Yes. This happened twice actually because of your email address mishap the first day and then the seats were gone. But yes. But then they weren't gone. They were there. It was 15 minutes. So 15 minutes for official London Theatre and like 5-ish minutes for Today Takes, we think, before you can like refresh the page and try again. But then also at the same time, for the producers specifically, they had announced like an in-person rush that day, like later, that it would have been like, we could have probably got tickets for £19.26 instead of, what did we pay? 28, 30, something like that? £30. Because it was like Mel Brooks's 100th birthday that day.
Yeah, randomly we're at like an influencer night. So... And
don't know how that happened.
We're influencers. They knew. They
were
like,
but they didn't have to pay those people. We had to pay.
I know. There was like, it was kind of it was another media night because they were celebrating Mel Brooks' birthday in June.
This was not announced or anything, by the way, during the show. No. This was just via social media.
Yeah, and they just, I think, wanted coverage, additional coverage. Then they announced, these £19.26 tickets for the year of Mel Brooks' birth. And like also that was the night that Andy Nyman returned to the cast.
Yes.
It was an exciting night.
All that to say, also like literally the day after we saw it, they announced they're closing. So
that's true.
This is ending in September 19th. I don't know if we're gonna do an episode on the producers. This was like the first foray of producers for me, you too, right? You've never seen
I'd never
the
seen
movie
it before, but I was familiar with the plot.
Yeah, I had no idea, and like a little shocked by some of the imagery that was on stage. I have to be honest. In 2026, so yeah, if we're interested in like an episode, let us know. But it was, I would say, like a good production of like kind of classic, I'll use in quotations, musical.
Yeah, I thought it was a high quality production. What it reminded me of, honestly, was like kind of a Stratford level production. Like it was a very straightforward, very high quality, like expensive looking, and like well acted production of, you know, a mid 2000s musical comedy. Like if you're familiar with Mel Brooks in any way, I think, you know, that's like, I don't think it's takes a mental leap to see kind of the style of humor that this would be. And I think it's extremely well acted and like well staged. It's a musical comedy, and musical comedies like hit or miss. To me, this one is like in the middle in terms of like levels of funniness.
Yeah. I don't know. I have like a bit of a harder time, I think, for different reasons.
Sure. Yeah, like speaking like strictly musical wise, like Spamalot, like I was so like did not find that funny in any way.
Same.
Whereas this I found like significantly more amusing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm just like, there's, you know, a lot of imagery that people are laughing at, and I don't know if we're laughing because we're uncomfortable that we're seeing it, or if we're laughing because we're laughing. So that's kind of hard for me.
I think that is what the musical is commenting on, to be honest. Like, I think...
No, I definitely agree with that. But I also feel like, had I known that, I don't know that I would have cared to see it.
Right. Well, I was trying to get us to see Sinatra. I know,
but
Sinatra.
It was sold out. So you should have pushed harder in advance.
I was pitching
We would have,
Sinatra.
honestly, if we were going to see Sinatra, we would have had to buy a ticket as soon as those tickets went on sale. Because it was, like, even that first preview was sold out. So
sure, and that makes sense for, like, early previews, because people are, like, trying to get in. I honestly haven't seen much about it, so...
They opened yesterday, or the day before.
But even, like, you know, early preview
the curtain call video.
I haven't seen that much about it.
But, like, do they do that in the West End? I feel like that's not as popular over there as it is on Broadway.
Yeah, the West End, like, Reddit is not as active as the Broadway Reddit.
No, it's so slow. Oh, my God.
Kind of but, you know... Okay.
Yeah, that was the producers on Tuesday, and then Wednesday was the big day, because obviously we had tickets to go see Paddington at night, which we'll get to that in a second, but we also bought tickets in advance on the, like, you know, UK TKTS official London Theatre at 50% off to go see Oliver.
When we say in advance, we mean like 2 days in advance.
2 days in advance, yeah. We could have like done, they didn't have a rush on Today Tix, so this was like the only way to do it unless you were going to buy from the website officially. But on the website, they weren't discounted the same way that they were on official London Theatre. This, to me, this whole day, I think, was like such a good theater day.
Yeah.
Again, let us know if you want an episode on Oliver. I was in Oliver when I was in grade 8, so I feel like I already like went in with so much knowledge just from, you know, watching the movie many times and then doing it on stage. But to me, this was like such a good production of, you know, a classic UK, like British musical. This was such a British musical day, and it felt so like quintessentially English in like the best possible way. Like I thought this was really, really good.
The quality of productions that we saw on Wednesday specifically were, I think, like a step above everything that we had seen the week like leading up. Oliver, I was quite unfamiliar with Oliver beyond like 1 or 2 songs. Like I understood it's about a street urchin. Like I knew that, but I didn't know like the plot necessarily. Talk about a long musical. Like, guys, let's
almost 3 hours.
Wrap her up a little bit earlier. But I really enjoyed myself. I thought, again, it was a really great production, really high quality production. Just, you know, if you're in London visiting, like you can't really do a more quintessentially London thing than see Oliver on the West End.
And also
delivered.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it is, like, as good as you think it will be. Like, we had gone in with this on a list because, you know, it's such a UK thing. It's such a British musical. And I think like when we had heard it was revived and it got really good reviews. But yeah, it definitely like lived up to the hype. The stage, the set, it just felt so expensive in there. That theater was so beautiful as well. Like the outside marquee, we were in the dress circle, like pretty center. And I'm happy we sat there because it was like a good view of everything that was going on. There was like a quad turntable because the whole stage was like spinning at one point. And then like shout out to the guy who played Fagin, who was an understudy, because he was so
he was great,
good,
just like, and, like chewing the scenery the whole time.
His like makeup transformation on Instagram that we watched, we were like, is
like
that the same man? It's crazy.
Like, there's no way that's
I want to like find his name because he was so good. The other thing too is that like, yes, the set like moved, there was like multiple turntables, but there was also multiple bridges that came up and down from the set. The kids were so good. Like, obviously the show fully like comes to life when Dodger sings Consider Yourself, and the whole ensemble is like marching on stage.
That's when
it's
like
so good.
Color kind of really enters the show too. Like, it's so like dark and gray leading up to that, but when Oliver kind of enters the world of like the Artful Dodger and Fagin and the other like street kids, like the show really like opens up, and again, color's introduced, and like it's so much more like lively and joyful, and that is really like when I was like starting to really lean in to this show.
So our Fagin was Oscar Conlon Murray, who typically plays Mr. Bumble, but I guess he's also understudy track Fagin. Like so good.
Yeah, he was great.
Also, like the songs in Oliver are really good. It's just like a good musical, like from top to bottom.
Cameron McIntosh
did that.
You know how to bring a classic to the stage.
Yes. It's funny because like obviously when I did this in grade 8, we did not have certain things happen. I was like shocked at some of the like death scenes because I was like, this did not happen.
That was shocking, actually.
Sanitized production. We weren't choking Nancy out until she died. Like death. I was not choked out till I was strangled to death. Like that's crazy, Oliver.
That was crazy. Yeah.
But also, as you can imagine, there's like 4 children that play Oliver that must, rotate, and then there's all the kids. The Dodger is like 17 years old. We were Googling him while we were in the theater. But yeah, really talented people, a really, really good production. So yeah, that was the Wednesday matinee, and then Wednesday night we had our pre-bought tickets to Paddington. We have talked about this previously, but we were lucky to get tickets for the pre-bought like MasterCard front row seat experience. These tickets, we never said. Oliver was what, 50 something pounds?
It was 52 pounds with 50 pence on TKTS online.
Okay, great. And Paddington was 60 pounds.
Yeah.
For the pre-buy, which turned out to be at the time like 120 Canadian dollars, which is on like the
Something
MasterCard
like
website.
Yeah.
And then you also get complimentary ice cream. Your seats are in the front row.
So true.
This was obviously an experience for us because of the time difference. So every month in advance of the next month, they release the 15 seats in the front row, and you have a chance to buy them. It's at 10 o'clock in the morning, which is 5 a.m. for us. And we were successful in doing that in May for June. And I just have to say that, like, whatever you're hearing about Paddington and how good it is, like, you have to believe it because it's actually better.
It was such a wonderful experience. It was worth it. I would have been so sad to miss it before I even knew what it was. And now that I have seen it, I'm like, oh, wow. I'm, like, so grateful that we got to see it. It does live up to it. Again, it's like a children's show, but it is in a way that, speaks to all generations and speaks to, it's about London, which we just spent like the past 5 days exploring, and about like the people and the community that makes up the city of London and how it like welcomes, new people and immigrants like Paddington. And I just thought it was what a beautiful like cap to our like 5 days in London to see this like British show. It's kind of like a love letter to the city.
It's funny because like we had, written on Reddit to be like, do you need to see Paddington before you see this musical?
Like the
and
movie?
the answer was yes, the movie. And the answer was no. But that it does kind of follow the premise of the first movie of the Paddington like series. I have never seen a Paddington movie. I've never read a Paddington book. I am very unfamiliar with Paddington, but you better believe that I think about this bear every day since we saw it. Like, the way that I was so emotionally touched. I listened to the cast recording the other day in the car and I started crying. Like, I just think that, like, one, we will get, like, so into this because we are absolutely doing a Paddington episode, because also, spoiler, it's transferring to New York if you haven't heard this yet. So it's one of those shows that on paper it's like, oh, this could either be so bad and corny and like a theme park experience, the way that probably the Paddington experience is outside of the London Eye, or this could be exactly what it is, and it like has no right to be as good as it is for a first-time musical theater writer, score in Tom Fletcher from the band McFly, in like the costuming, the set, the budget of the show was like unbelievable to me. I will never get over it.
Who we have to shout out is Luke Shepherd, like putting those
I
pieces
know,
together.
and I actually feel such like pain that when we covered the Anne Juliet opening night, we didn't talk to him about this. Like, I actually feel horrible about that, because like knowing what I know. Who cares about Anne Juliet? Let's talk about Paddington.
Like Paddington only. Yeah, we'll go further in depth on our actual episode, but it was announced that it will be premiering at the Al Hirschfeld in 2027. I think our tickets already on sale, like,
yes, they went on sale the day it was announced, yeah. Tickets
are already on sale, and
they're quite expensive.
So I'm happy to have seen it, the way, like, in the West End, and before it gets to Broadway, to just have experienced it. And yeah, I really, like, we'll go further in, but it was the highlight of all the shows that we saw. I'll speak for myself, but I think also for you. And just, it was worth everything. I think you could pay full price and it would be worth it. I'm happy we didn't, but I think you could.
Yeah.
And I don't think you would feel like you didn't get your money's worth at the end.
Yeah, I do think, like, your money is seen on the stage, in my opinion. Like, it's a very lavish musical. It's just, like, yeah, I have so much to say on this, but all this to say, if you are looking to potentially do the MasterCard situation, this is on until October. They're running this promo. It's possible it could extend further, but right now it's on until October. On Paddington's website, you can enter the lottery, which draws every month. And then if you do look further ahead than like 3 weeks from now, there are cheaper tickets. They have also just extended themselves until 2028. So I do think Paddington is about to be a staple at the Savoy Theater. Yeah. And it absolutely should be. And shout out to Mr. Alzopedi and his class for also being at the theater that day.
Mr. Alzopedi, think about him. Think about them. It was like a school group.
Yeah.
That we got caught up in. Of like,
but yeah, there's like 10 million more things that we could say on this, but we will save this for our Paddington episode, which will probably be the first of the West End shows that we talk about, just because, it's so popular right now. But also, yeah, the cast recording is out if you're interested in listening to it, and there are ways to get cheap tickets. You just might not be able to see it like tomorrow. Oh, sorry. Yeah. One more thing about this is that Twickets, the app, is something that I feel like we have not talked about at all because we were not using it for anything but Paddington. But basically, I want to compare it to StubHub, even though I don't think it's the exact same thing. Maybe it's compared to like that theater app that's in New York, where you can like chat with people. But basically what it is like, if I have tickets to a show I can no longer attend, I list on Twickets. If Steph sees that, then she can buy it from me. I don't know about the exchange. It's either like via email transfer, or I think sometimes you can potentially meet the person in person, like the theater app.
I think a big part of it is that you're supposed to be selling for face value or below. Like, I don't think you're supposed to be marking up on
I don't think you can mark up on this,
that's what I mean.
As opposed to like StubHub.
It's more of like you know, a marketplace for getting rid of tickets that you can't use. It's not meant to be like a profit-making venture for people selling tickets.
And basically what we did, even though, like, we had tickets to Paddington going down, but before we had the tickets, we both had Twickets installed on our phones, and we would set up alerts for the days that we were going to be there, and then it would come through. You can set up, like, push notifications, you can set up email, and we got, like, there was stuff available for, like, the Saturday, Sunday when we were there.
The day before we bought the MasterCard tickets, a pair of tickets became
we almost bought Twickets. Yeah.
And we almost bought them the day before, and then we just kind of were like, no, we're going to see what happens tomorrow morning. And so, which did work out for us, but we still had notifications on, and, like, stuff did come up as it was. And I honestly also, I wish we'd kind of put in notifications for other things that we wanted to see. Like, I wish we'd put in notifications for 6, like, earlier.
Right.
And seen if we could done something with that. Like, for the more high demand shows, I think Twickets is a good option. For something like The Hunger Games, Totoro, I think you're fine to just be, like, buying direct or buying on Today Tix. But for the stuff that's, like, a bit of a trickier ticket, I think Twickets is a good option.
Yeah. Even, and it's not just theater, it's also, like, concerts. It can be anything. I literally saw someone on Twitter today bought their Harry Styles ticket for £24. So, you can, like, search. It's pretty searchable on there, and it's very easy to set up alerts. And we were, as you said, getting notifications there. So if you're familiar with the theater app in New York, this is very similar in London. And it's not through, like, Ticketmaster or anything like that. It's, like, through its own separate platform. But yeah, so all that to say, we absolutely will be talking more about Paddington, but just know that if you're thinking about seeing it, go see it. And if you're thinking about seeing it in London before it goes to New York, like, go see it, because I feel like that is, like, the birthplace. It's so London. We don't know what the London experience will be like on Broadway.
Yeah, I hope they keep. I mean, I think they'll have to keep its Londonness. Like, that is so much, like, at the core of what Paddington is. But yeah, I'm curious to see what happens with it when it transfers. I think, there's a lot more conversation to be had about that, which we will. Yeah. Which we will have.
Which we will. And then, then the last show, which we kind of started all of this with, was we took a 2-hour train out to Leeds to go see Legally Blonde on tour. And we paid, as you said, £41 to see this in, like, the rear orchestra of the Grand Theatre at Leeds, which, again, this is irrelevant at the time of episode release because they're in Dublin now. And that theater is very beautiful. No air conditioning, for anybody that's wondering. If
very
you're seeing a show.
Flooring.
Very creaky wood flooring.
I was like, what's happening over there during the show? It's just like someone trying to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. But no, it was a fun show. It's a very, I would say, this version of Legally Blonde is extremely Gen Z. So that's kind of how I would describe that.
In a way, which is interesting. But
yes. It's also been cut down slightly. There are certain characters that have less to do. There's certain songs that have, like, chopped sections of lyrics. But overall, if you're familiar with Legally Blonde, it's pretty much the exact same thing. Anyway, that is our London theater roundup. I don't think we have anything else. We kind of went through more than I thought we would.
We also, like, were in London. Like, we did, like, the touristy things. We went for tea. We went to Big Ben. Like, we just made a whole trip of it, obviously. And we had, you know, a great time in London. The other thing to talk about is what is going on with Sunday in the Park with George at the Barbican next summer.
Okay, so I actually did see a tweet, maybe? I don't know if it was a tweet, but someone said that they have now changed the waiting room on the Barbican's, like, website to make it more similar to, like, Ticketmaster, where they give you, like, a number type thing. So someone was like, they're getting ready. So there's a lot of, like, rumors. A lot of the rumors are that, like, the theaters, like, was not ready to have these tickets with, like, the, you know, estimated influx of people that will be traveling to their website. Right. They needed to, like, get the interface ready. And that the other rumor is that Ariana Grande is dropping out. So, like, we'll see what happens.
I don't know. They said they were supposed to go on sale in May. They never went on sale. Now they've said the fall. Which is a full, like, 3-month range. So, yeah. So I would love to go back and see that, too. And I think we've learned from this trip, like, how to do a West End theater trip. So hopefully we're able to apply that knowledge
The other thing too, and this is like, again, time constraints of like what we were doing for the rest of, you know, our trip, but a lot of stuff opened the week after we left.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind too, is that you really
100%.
need to look at like the long calendar if you're trying to do, like, New York is New York. It's very close to us. It's like an 1.5 hour flight. This is much further away. So, like, if there's something... But again, like, we weren't going there to see, like, something specifically theatery. We bought concert tickets and then built out a theater trip around that.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to do it opposite-wise, you really got to look at the long calendar to see, like, what you're interested in. Because... had we known that Harry was going to extend his Wembley run by, like, literally a month, we might have moved some of those dates around to see things like Jesus Christ Superstar, starring all of those, like, celebrities as King Herod, like
Whatever's
the Ramin Sweeney Todd.
Something's happening at, like, Regent's Park this summer.
Yes,
even
like we would have Midsummer Night's Dream. Yeah.
The Globe Theater was, like, closed the week we were there. No performances. So, yeah. Something to think about. And so, yeah, like, if these Sunday in the Park tickets do ever go on sale, you know, maybe...
we gotta look at the long game here.
Yeah, I would maybe want to go maybe later in the summer, like, potentially, to try and, like, catch the different summer runs.
But are those dates that they even said even real?
Well,
like,
we don't know.
Who even knows?
We'll have to, like, estimate that based on when we get the actual
Now,
dates.
if one of them drops out, are we still... going as hard? That's the question.
That's the question. Like, who do we care more about?
Probably Jonathan Bailey.
Probably Johnny.
But also at the same time, like, it would be to see the two of them together.
It's the pairing.
Because we could have seen him in other shows, traveled for him previously, but we never did. So, like...
No, but, like, no offense, I don't care about, like, Richard III.
No.
The way I care about Sunday in the Park with George. Or Cock. The way I care about Sunday in the Park with George.
No, I agree. But I do think it's, like, I think this is all, you know, part of it. This is what people are saying, that, like, it's a whole... All this to say, though, there's also, like, nothing currently announced for, like, next season that, like, we know about either for the West End. So, me saying, like, you gotta look at the long calendar, there's nothing there right now. So, it's hard to say. They don't do as big of announcements for things as New York does in advance, I would say. Like, the West End schedule is a lot quieter in their releases than New York being like, next spring, this, and this. You kind of just have to, like, keep up with what's happening and get lucky, basically, based on the dates that you're available.
Yes, for sure.
Because even when we were researching for this trip, we were like, what is playing? Like, there's no website that's just like, here's like everything. There's no Broadway.com.
Yes, there's no Broadway.com. Also because, like, theaters, like, there's not... In New York, it's like 41 set theaters. And the West End is not quite that, specific in what's defined as a theater. And then also, again, they're so geographically, like, far more spread out than they are in New York. So, yeah, it's just a different landscape. But, yeah, I think we learned a lot from this trip about ticket buying and, like, how to plan and schedule that I hope we get to apply when Sunday in the Park with George goes.
Should it ever come. We'll see what happens.
Should it ever come, and if we're able to get a ticket, because, you know,
exactly.
I'm sure everyone's trying to, like, get a ticket.
If it's anything like the Ariana Grande tour tickets, good luck to us all.
Yeah, well...
a much smaller scale than what she was doing for those
Like,
arenas.
the audience is so much smaller. So, yeah. Anyway, we will hopefully find out.
We'll hopefully be talking about this again in the fall. Whatever that means. Whatever month the fall means for tickets to go on sale.
November 20th. Could be like November.
It could be. Yeah, what's the first day of winter?
I actually think it's December 21st. It could be December.
So we could be talking about this from, like, September 21st to December 21st.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is our London Theatre recap. As I said at the beginning of this episode, if there is something you would like to hear a review of, please let us know. And we will hopefully do an episode. We'll see. But with that, it's now time for our obsession of the week.
I don't even know how I came across this obsession, but I think it was somewhere on social media. But, you know, I'm always looking for a podcast. Half my obsessions all the time are podcasts, because that's really just, like, when I'm working, I have a podcast. If I'm walking around my house, I have a podcast.
When you're trying to lock in and focus, you're listening to a podcast.
Tara knows we're on vacation, and like I would just be like puttering around, and I was like, sorry, I need to focus. It's AirPod time, and I just like put in my AirPods, put in like a podcast, and just like lock it
very loudly because I can hear it from across the room.
You can hear it. I just like need. Like, I just needed to focus. So that's why I have my obsessions are podcasts, because I just, like, always have a podcast going. So this one is called the Dr. Broadway podcast. So I was, like, intrigued by the title because I wanted just maybe, like, a little more analytical perspective on, you know, shows that we're thinking about listening to and, like, are interested in. And so I was listening to a few episodes earlier today. It's hosted by Dr. Kristen Stoltz-Presley and Dr. Tracy Brent Chesham. And they provide episodes on Broadway shows that are currently touring in the U.S., context, broad history. And so each of them is kind of like dedicated to one musical. So I listened to one about Boop today. Wow. And I actually did kind of go into the development from like the beginning of like who originally got the rights to do the musical, who they approached in terms of like to write it, when did the creative team that we ended up, you know, seeing create Boop like come in, and kind of their different history with musicals. And I don't know, I found it, and they talked about, you know, the history of like who Betty Boop was based on. And so I found this was a really interesting episode. I also listened to one about, what was the other one I listened to? Death Becomes Her. They also talked about, you know, the adaptation of it and like the development of it as a musical, and like the change from you know, the first iterations of it to what we ended up seeing on stage. So yeah, kind of just like going through the oral history of these shows. And then before we started, I had clicked on the Just in Time episode. So they have about, I think, like 60-ish episodes out, each one on an individual show, and kind of just like maybe a little more analytical lens on these shows than other podcasts. It's not necessarily a review show, but just kind of going into the history of these shows. And so, you know, a good, comfortable listen. I was having a good time listening. I like the way that they speak about musicals, so I would definitely recommend the Dr. Broadway podcast.
Are they based in New York?
No, I don't think so, actually. And again, they're not necessarily talking about the shows from the perspective of having seen them. They're really kind
just
of
like
going into like
how
history.
It comes to be.
Yeah. And they do listen to the cast albums and talk about the cast albums, but again, they're not talking about, oh, I love this song, oh, I didn't love this song, or I love this moment, I didn't love this moment. It was more just like, you know, how did this come together? And that's something that's super interesting to me, just like, how did the puzzle pieces like fit together to create something?
What are their
like
sources?
This? And, like, what Definitely are their sources? That's a great question. Maybe it is Wikipedia. We love Wikipedia.
We do, but these people have doctor in their title, so they should be, you know, doing real research.
I think they like, one of them is like a theater professor of history and dramaturgy at UCF.
Okay, so yeah, so I assume like they do real research. They're doctors.
Yeah, so their perspective on shows comes from a different place than like ours does, or other theater reviewers or stuff. So I think like it's definitely interesting to listen to. So I'd recommend the Dr. Broadway podcast.
Great.
Thanks. Tara, what's your
obsession? My obsession this week is something that I've had on a list for such a long time, and it was relevant months ago, but I guess it's kind of relevant now because the cast recording was actually, you know, live at the London Palladium, and it is the last 5 years with Rachel Zegler and Ben Platt. I went through a period of listening to this like literally every day because one, the cast recording is like so stupid clear because, well, Rachel has one of the cleanest voices I've ever heard in my entire life. And I just think it's like a really, you know, the music from the last 5 years is always something that I have been such a fan of, and to hear, you know, two people that have voices that I love on this is just always exciting. So the song that I am choosing for my obsession this week is Summer in Ohio. I'm sure everybody saw all of the million TikToks of this from when Rachel did it at the Hollywood Bowl, when she did it at Radio City, when she did it in London. But like, what a masterclass of a vocal performance this girl is giving. I just like am so floored by her every time I hear her sing. You know, going to Broadway next year as well, Evita transferring to the Winter Garden. I don't know if we've talked about that publicly on the podcast yet, but Evita is transferring. And yeah, I just think like this is somebody that we'll be talking about for like a really, really long time. She is just like so talented. Her next year is insane. I feel she's doing, you know, Broadway. She's also going to be in Octet if that comes out next year, which I think it probably will come out because I saw the other day that they wrapped yesterday or last week or something like that. Yeah.
I can see you doing like the festival circuit in 2027, like Sundance, like I don't know,
maybe
the winter festivals and
yeah. But it's just like exciting because like obviously she's done, you know, film stuff, but it does feel like this is her true passion, and I love when people come back to this. And with a voice like that, like it would be such a waste to have that just like live in film. So I'm very happy that she is doing what she's doing. But yeah, the entire cast recording is so good. Summer in Ohio is my obsession. Another one I'll say, like A Miracle Would Happen is really good. I think like her Opt Up and I Can Do Better Than That is great. And then to me, like a song that I've always loved, but I feel like not a lot of people talk about it, The Finale. The Finale is so good. Goodbye Until Tomorrow / I Can Never Rescue You. And they both sound so good on that, but it's a really good cast recording. And yeah, this was something that they did like live in London for the 25th anniversary of the last 5 years. And I think Ben Platt's about to be in a show in the West End as well. He's doing, I saw him like post something about this, but I do think he has a show coming up this fall, or maybe it's the end of the summer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
On the number one source, Wikipedia. West End production of Midnight at the Never Get at the Menier Chocolate Factory. Previews are set to begin July 11th.
Oh, soon. Like, literally, like, the week this episode comes out.
With an opening night on July 20th, closing on September 12th. I'm searching what this is.
I believe it's a musical. I hope it's a musical. That would be crazy if it wasn't. Imagine if it's just Ben Platt in a straight play. Like.
Oh, okay. An acclaimed musical. This is the AI overview on Google. An acclaimed musical by Mark Sonnenblick that centers on a secret illegal gay cabaret in 1965 New York. Okay. Singer Trevor Copeland and songwriter Arthur Brightman perform love songs defiantly with male pronouns intact while navigating a passion they can't control and political revolution they barely understand. Wow. Okay. The story alternates between 1965 and an afterlife limbo where a deceased Trevor looks back on his romance through a cabaret concert at the Never Get. It is a poignant meditation on impossible love, memory, and queer history that features a swinging big band sound. Okay, wow.
So and this is Ben's... Well, does the last 5 years count as a West End debut? Because I feel like he was calling this his West End debut.
Probably. Like, this is different than, like, a concert production. So this was off-Broadway. Well, I've never heard of this. This was off-Broadway in 2018. Like, it's new. That was a world premiere. It's, like,
fairly recent. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the world
premiere.
But
he wasn't in it, was he?
No, it was Sam Bolin and Jeremy Cohen.
Oh. Anyway, Ben Platt's going to be on the West End like this week. So if anyone is interested in going to see, I feel like so many New Yorkers are like making their way over to isn't Jonathan Groff doing something in the West End also? I swear. I feel like I'm not making that one up either. I feel like everyone is, you know, wanting a taste of what it's like over in London. And it's kind of, I think it's fun. I think it's like good to do that.
So I think, like, we didn't even get into this, but I think it's a little bit easier to produce things in London because, like, the unions in New York are extremely strong, which I love for advocating for their workers, but it does mean that you are, like, limited in the amount of risk you're allowed to take because it is so expensive to put something on. Whereas in the West End, it just is a little bit cheaper to try something out. Okay. In September 2026, Groff will play Rosalind in an all-male production of William Shakespeare's As You Like It for the Royal Shakespeare Company in Stratford-upon-Avon, directed by RSC's co-artistic director Daniel Evans.
Tuck these celebrity names with West End into my head. I'm like, oh, this is happening, but I don't know what it is until you do the Google. But I was like, I think he's doing something also. And he is.
Wow, okay, what Ben Platt is doing, directed by David Cromer. Okay.
Oh, I think I knew that when I read this originally. This was months ago. The announcement came out because he posted something. Like about it, possibly with music, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, lots happening in London. There's always stuff happening. I would say, you know, back
the cast
to
is 3 people. Okay, go on.
There's, as you were saying, like the West End tag on Reddit is like not that great, but there are like websites where you can kind of just like, you need to kind of scour the theaters to see what's playing, but there is stuff playing. I will say, I think the official LondonTheatre.com is like the best place where you can see like the largest overview. And I would say second is like Today Tix. They don't have everything on Today Tix because a lot of the stuff is just like what's affiliated with them. But between those two places, you should be able to get a good overview of what's playing off and on the West End, along with like any concerts that are happening.
One of our biggest resources was definitely Today Tix.
Yeah, for sure. So that's our obsessions. That is the London Theatre recap, and that's it. So if you want to listen to any of our other episodes, you can do that by subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also watch us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe over there and leave us a comment.
And you can follow us on Instagram at Off to Broadway Podcast and on TikTok at Off to Broadway. You can see a lot on TikTok of kind of, you know, just like pictures and recaps of our trip, and kind of a recap of what we paid for a lot of things. So comment there if you want more questions about what our seats were like or how it was getting tickets, and we'll comment back.
You can also comment there for what reviews you want, and episodes you want. Anywhere. Or Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I think that's it. That's all the platforms we use. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.